everyone, my name is Cheka. Welcome to our Facebook Live event here at the Houston Zoo. I'm a keeper in the primate department, and I also have another primate keeper, Mallory, who's going to be helping me do some food tosses. Today we're highlighting our orangutan species, and we have two orangutans on exhibit today. We have Rudi and Kelly, who are already up front here waiting for their food tosses very patiently. Rudi is actually 42 years old, and Kelly is 39. And they don't always come out together every day on exhibit. They come out about every other day together, and then other days you might just see Rudi out here by himself or Kelly out here by herself. We're gonna give everybody a couple minutes to tune in, and then we're gonna start doing some food tosses with these guys, so hopefully you can see them interacting with some of their enrichment and some of their food. We also have two other orangutans here at the Houston Zoo, Cheyenne and Aurora. They are inside right now. Our orangutans do not all come out together. They are a semi-solitary species, which means that they mostly live alone in the wild, except for when mothers are raising their young or when males and females come together to breed. So Cheyenne is our oldest female here. She is 48, and Aurora is our juvenile. She is 9 years old. So what we do with our orangutans here at the zoo is we pretty much give them all a chance to come outside every day and rotate them off and on exhibit. And they all have a choice to come out every day. No one has to come out, but Kelly really enjoys being outside. Some days Rudi prefers to stay inside. They get a lot of enrichment inside and outside, so it's actually sometimes nice for them to be inside. So we're actually going to start one of our food tosses. First, we're going to start with an ice pop. This is some diluted apple juice with some orange peels frozen on the top. This serves a couple purposes. On hot days, we like to give them some ice pops to keep them hydrated. And it's good for us to freeze things inside of them as well, so that they can use it as enrichment. Kind of have to work it a little bit to get things out. So we're going to do a little food toss over here to these guys. Kelly. Ready. So Kelly's kind of waiting for Rudi to go get his first. Sometimes we can't always throw right to them because we don't want to throw it in the moat. But sometimes they will fish stuff out of the moat if it comes close enough to them. They also share this exhibit with 4 different turtle species. There's about 27 turtles in this moat. We have the Malaysian giant turtles, the painted terrapins, the fly river turtles, and the yellow-headed temple turtles. You won't all see them all at once, but on sunny days they will come outside or on land to bask in the sun. And we do feed them every morning from the exhibit, and also we have some turtle feeders in the moat where we can drop food and it doesn't all flow into the overflow. So it looks like Kelly went over and got her pop, and she's working on that right now. Rudi's kind of holding on to his for now. All right, we're going to start taking some questions. Selena asked, how much do they weigh? That's a great question. Males can weigh over 200 pounds. Rudi in particular is quite large for a male. He's about 275 pounds. Kelly is about 125 pounds, so males can be up to twice as large as females. Aurora, our youngest, is about 65 pounds. So Kelly's going to start working on her pop there and getting those orange peels out. And like I said, it's a really great way to keep them hydrated, especially in the summer. We do multiple ice pop tosses every day. Paulina asks, how long do they live? In captivity, they can live anywhere between 50 and 60 years, so quite a long time. In the wild, about 30 to 40 years. Orangutans are unique among great apes, and they're the only ape found in Asia. They're the only ones that are not based in Africa. Casey asks, what is their favorite food? Well, just like you and I, they have different preferences. Fruit tends to be their favorite food. Bananas, blueberries, oranges, things like that. They also get vegetables every day, and sometimes they don't always like their vegetables. Like Rudi doesn't really like his peas, and that's okay. So our animal nutrition department does a great job of giving us a very varied diet every day. So they get one type of fruit, one type of vegetable every day. So it keeps it varied, and sometimes their vegetable can be onions, sweet potatoes, carrots, and fruits can vary as well. And they also get a type of leafy green every day, whether that's romaine or cabbage or bok choy. Today they have romaine lettuce. Quinn asked, why is the boy's face different than the girls? That is also a great question. If you will notice on Rudi's face, he has these large large, fleshy cheek pads on the side of his face, and that is something that is unique to males, and only adult males. So around mid-teenage years, late teenage years, dominant males will develop these cheek pads. And as you notice, Kelly does not have those. So that establishes that Rudi is a fully grown adult male. And if you also notice, he has this large air sac right around his neck area, and that aids in making his long call project. Long call can project over a mile in the wild, and so having that throat sac helps him to kind of use it as a microphone and help that long call project. And Rudi does do a long call here pretty often at the zoo. Mostly he does it inside. Caroline asks, what are their predators? In the wild, their predators can be large cats like tigers or leopards. Humans can unfortunately also be predators. All the orangutan species, there are 3 of them, are endangered in the wild. They're critically endangered, which means their population is declining. Bella asks, how fast can they move? In general, they are not super fast. They can move fast if they want to, but as you notice, their bodies are very large. And they do spend most of their time in the trees. They're one of the largest arboreal mammals, and arboreal means that they spend time in the trees and they locomote through the trees. They would be more susceptible to predators on the ground, so they don't spend very much time on the ground in general. So they don't have to move too fast. But like I said, these guys can move pretty fast when they really want to and when they get excited about something. But in general, they pretty much take their time and move pretty slowly. Rudi's got quite a large body to move around, so he doesn't move too fast very often. I want to give a shout out to Galvin's 3rd graders from Corpus. Thank you for joining us. As I mentioned, we do have 2 other orangutans here, Cheyenne and Aurora. Cheyenne is actually a surrogate mom to Aurora. Aurora was actually born to Kelly. Kelly did not raise her, unfortunately. We had a large team of volunteers and keepers and staff who helped hand raise Aurora for about the first 9 months of her life. And then we gave her to Cheyenne. Cheyenne had been a proven surrogate mother to other orangutans here before. And we gave her to Cheyenne around 9 months, and they've been together ever since. So it ended on a really happy note, and they do really well together. Another unique things about orangutans is their young stay with them for about 8 to 10 years in the wild. So they have one of the longest interbirth intervals, which means females don't give birth to another offspring for about 8 to 10 years. And during that time, the infants are learning all these new skills from their mother on how to survive and how to look for food. So they won't leave their mother for quite a long time. So females on average will have about 3 to 5 births in their lifetime. Bella asked, can they swim? No, they cannot swim. As you see, there is a moat around their exhibit. They can put their feet in the water and they can reach out to grab things, but because of their large body size, they are not buoyant, so they cannot swim. And a happy birthday to Casey Rodriguez. Thanks for tuning in and happy birthday. If you'll notice in their exhibit, they have a few enrichment items. They've already interacted with them, but we have this large ball with holes in it over to the right. And in the beginning of the day, I stuffed that with hay and put some of their forage items in there. Today, their forage item was sunflower seeds, so they were able to pull all that hay out and search for that food. We like to give all of our animals here a variety of enrichment to stimulate their minds and to encourage natural behaviors. They also have some forage piles out here. Foraging is a natural behavior in the wild. They would spend a lot of time looking for food, up to 60% of their day in the wild looking for food. So we don't like to put all their food in one spot. We like to spread it out and kind of make them work for it a little bit. Orangutans are very intelligent and they're very good problem solvers. So we have a lot of puzzle feeders out here for them to use. As you notice, Kelly was banging her ice pop on the platform there to break it open and try and get to those orange peels. I guess we can do another food toss here. We have some biscuits for them. This is part of their breakfast. They get biscuits every day. Kelly!
Ready.
And we put everything in bags just so that it won't fly out, and it kind of makes it a little bit harder for them to get it, so they kind of have to figure out how to open it. Biscuits are a part of all of our primates' diets here. It contains a lot of their vitamins and nutrients and a good amount of their calories for the day. And then we also supplement that with fresh produce, fresh fruits and vegetables. In the wild, they would be eating fruits, leaves, bark, bark, small insects, things like that. Jacob asks, how strong are they? Well, they are very, very strong. If you notice, they have very long arms in comparison to their legs, and that's used for brachiating through the trees. So a grown adult male orangutan can be about 8 times as strong as a man. As you can see, they're opening up their bag, seeing what they have in there. Rudi has some of his low starch biscuits, and Kelly has some of her browse biscuits. And if you notice, Kelly and Rudi are sitting a little bit apart from each other. Rudi is the dominant animal out here, so we try and throw things to Rudi first and then throw it to Kelly, and she'll kind of keep her eyes on Rudi and wait and make sure before she gets her stuff. So you won't ever really see them eating right next to each other. Riley asks, how high can they climb? They can climb as high as they want. If you notice, out on our exhibit, we have lots of tall platforms for them to be on. And that's because it's natural for them to want to be up high. They do spend a lot of time in the wild up in the trees, making their nests, looking for food. Orangutans also build elaborate nests each night from branches and leaves and different kinds of foliage. So we like to give our orangutans here at the zoo lots of material to make their nests every night. Our females get big black nest tubs, and we give them hay and paper and browse and all sorts of things to make a nest. And they make a new nest each night. So it's pretty unique. Jenga asks, do they live in groups in the wild? That's also a really great question. Orangutans also differ from all other great ape species in that they don't live in big family groups. They are semi-solitary in the wild. Chimpanzees, gorillas, and bonobos, they all live in large social groups. Orangutans do not. In zoos, we can manage them in flexible social settings, like having Rudi and Kelly out together, but we don't, like I said, we don't always have them out together, and inside they're always kept separated. So Rudi does like to be alone a lot. Kelly enjoys coming out with Rudi, but we also give them their time alone. How can you help save them in the wild? That is also a great question. The Houston Zoo partners with organizations in Borneo to replant trees to help save their habitat and replenish their habitat. And it is Earth Day, so we are talking about reusing paper and paper recycling. It's always a great thing to do, to go paperless if you can, to use recycled content, recycled toilet paper, things like that. Should we do another food toss? All right, we've got some of their produce diet here. We've got another bag, and this has got some pears in it from their produce diet.
So Cheka, who do we see here in the moat with the orangutan?
Oh, they share their moat with 4 different turtle species. There's about 27 turtles in this moat. We have the Malaysian giant turtles, the Malaysian painted river turtles, the fly river turtles, and the yellow-headed temple turtles. So you can see some of them in the shallow part of the moat over here, and there's some all throughout this moat, and it curves all the way around to the back of the exhibit. And there's not many out basking on land today, but when the sun is out and it's warm, the turtles do come on land and bask in the sun. Again, we have Rudi and Kelly on exhibit. Rudi's 42 years old. Kelly is 39 years old. And this is their exhibit here at Houston Zoo. They also have holding behind the rock wall where they spend the night. And they also have a newly renovated tunnel on the roof that connects one end of our building to the other, and they really seem to enjoy being in that tunnel where they can sleep overnight if they want to and get a better vantage point of different things in the zoo. And make sure you stay tuned for our Earth Day challenge. We'll be posting that after this Facebook Live event, and you can earn a chance to win a free membership to the zoo.
So Cheka, we just got a question. Why is there a moat?
Well, this is an open air exhibit. So this is pretty common in zoos nowadays to have a moat between animals and the public. And since the orangutans cannot swim, this is a much better way to view them than to have mesh and cage surrounding them. And on the other end of the exhibit, there is a window where the orangutans can come right up to the window and you can see them up close. So we have multiple different vantage points of our orangutans in this exhibit. Aurora, our youngest orangutan here, likes to spend most of her time up high. She doesn't feel very safe on the ground, and that's a very normal, naturalistic behavior. So she spends a lot of her time in this exhibit, sometimes on top of the black mesh up top or on top of the post. She'll take all of her food and take it up there in her enrichment and eat up there. We also have some enrichment that we're going to throw to them. I'm not sure if they're going to interact with it right this second because they're busy focusing on their eye spots. But these are called juice balls. Sometimes we put juice in them. Today I've put small currants in them, which are small raisins, and we've kind of taped it up so they don't fall out when we throw them. But they have to basically manipulate this and move this around in order to get the currants out. Kelly. Rudy finds that interesting, so maybe he'll go over and get his juice ball. Sometimes those eye spots take a while to work through, so sounds like he's going to give that one a break. You'll notice he's taking the tape off of that juice ball right now. Orangutans have very strong lips, and they can use their lips to maneuver their food, and they can actually peel an orange or peel a lemon without using their fingers at all. They can use their lips entirely to maneuver their food. So you can see Rudy shaking that ball around and trying to get those currants out. So this is a good form of enrichment. He's looking in that hole now to see what's in there. Again, orangutans are very intelligent, they're very smart, they're good problem solvers. Kelly in particular is very, very intelligent, and she's always trying to get into things, and she's very smart. Rudi tends to be a little bit on the shy side, but he is a dominant, assertive male, but he can be shy. And once he forms a relationship with a keeper, he can actually be quite playful. And Aurora, our 9-year-old, is a pretty typical 9-year-old. She's very mischievous, very playful. She does like to play with Shy and a lot indoors. Sophie asked, how long do they sleep? That's a great question as well. They make their nests every night, and they sleep pretty much through the night like we do. Sometimes when we come in the mornings, some of them are still in their nest tubs, awake but still laying around, and then some of them are already awake. But they do sleep all through the night. Tabitha asks, how do you clean their habitat? It's also a great question. So behind this exhibit in the back, there are some doors where they can come inside, where we can shift them inside. And they are all kept inside at night. We don't leave them outside overnight. That way in the morning, keepers can access their exhibit and clean up anything that was left from the day before, put out new food, new enrichment, and then we're able to let them back out. And they are given enrichment outside and inside. So all day they have something to do to challenge their minds and to encourage natural behavior. So especially grade 8s need a lot of enrichment to challenge their minds and keep them active. Jackie asked, well, why do they look so serious? So if you'll notice, the orangutans don't have a whole lot of facial expressions, especially in comparison to, say, chimpanzees. And that also has to do with the fact that they don't live in large social groups. Chimpanzees have to have a lot of facial expressions because they're constantly forming bonds and relationships with one another, and there's a very complex social hierarchy there. Since orangutans live alone in the wild, they don't see the need or need the adaptation to do that. So some people think they look sad or bored, but it's really not about that. It's just about their natural behavior. All right, guys, we're about to wrap up soon. Remember, it is Earth Day, so we will be posting a zoo challenge. So please join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. for our next Facebook Live event. And if you would, go to houstonzoo.org. We have an emergency zoo fund. This fund will help us during this challenging time to take care of our animals, to feed them, to provide them with enrichment. So any donation would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you've had a great time. Thanks for all the great questions.